Nope, just standing on my, because when you're next to Perry, you got to stand on this thing here. And it's nice to have Perry back. I mean, Perry, this is our first live guest. You are our first live guest in 2.5 years.
It's amazing to be back, for sure.
Welcome back. And
Thank
we've
you.
gone complete color here, that is for sure. Because that's what people want to get their yards doing in the fall. You want to bring out the color, and obviously these mums are a good choice.
Yeah, they're one of my favorites this time of year. There's not a lot that flowers later in the season like the mums. Mums are so easy to take care of and really bold, as you can see, a wide variety of colors. So it's something you can really add some pop. Maybe later in the season, you're seeing your yard sort of get the doldrums of later going into the fall. Obviously, we're getting some fall color from leaves and things like that. But again, the pop from flowers and instant impact, it's really nice to have some mums around.
So what does it take to keep the mums looking so beautiful as long as we can before the snow arrives?
Well, they're quite good even in frosty temperatures. And so really you just need to water them because they're in containers. They don't have as much soil. So again, just some simple watering is all you're going to need to do. And then, of course, you can just enjoy how beautiful they look.
They sure do. All right. We're going to talk about planting bulbs now. I mean, people who are really serious about their gardening, they don't just let everything go now. It's time to get busy and get ready for what's next year by planting some bulbs.
Well, there's some, we understand fall bulbs when we talk about fall bulbs as the time of year we plant them. It's not ones that are going to grow this time of year. And so tulips would be the most famous, I think. Obviously, they're going to come up in the spring. And we look at daffodils, crocus. There are a wide variety of plants that if you plant now, you can get that really kind of early bloom next spring. And whether it's tulips or crocus or daffodils, like I mentioned, the information is going to be on the package. It's going to help you with how to plant. A lot of times people ask about, exactly how deep you need to plant them. And it's going to range. Like tulips might be maybe 6 inches in the ground that you're going to bury the bulbs. Pointy end up is important as well. And whether it's something like a crocus, which may be a couple inches, again, you can just bury it in some good soil, and they'll come up in the spring and look amazing.
Now, when you're looking at the numbers of bulbs to actually put in the ground, I guess you have to be kind of careful here. You don't want to go too crazy with that.
You can go too crazy.
Oh, you can?
Like.
See,
yeah,
this is why I asked the question.
There's some personality.
They don't crowd each other?
Well, what you want to do is things with odd numbers is what we talk about. So maybe in one planting hole, you might have 3 bulbs. I mean, you can plant 1 if you want, but typically you'll get some more impact if you have them in bunches. So 3, 5, 7. I've heard as many as 30 or 40 people put in a bunch because they just want a really cool looking feature. And the idea is to be creative. You can do all kinds of things. There isn't really any rules other than I would follow planting depth. Having some bone meal that you're going to work into the soil is important. Well, and having a healthy soil. If you have, working some peat moss, compost, things like that, if your soil's not the greatest, that's important. Again, just giving it the nutritional base that it needs for the spring.
And we haven't brought up fertilizer. I'm assuming that's pretty important as well.
Yeah, well, bone meal is going to cover that. If you want to fertilize with a nitrogen fertilizer, that's fine. Just need a small amount of like a granular fertilizer, something that's slow release will be fine. If you have a problem in your neighborhood with things like squirrels and other rodents, some of the ravine areas in the city, older neighborhoods would have issues perhaps with squirrels. The newer developments, you're not really going to have that kind of population, but you can use some blood meal. The scent sort of is off-putting to them. Squirrels happen to like tulips a little bit more than some others, so if you have a problem with squirrels, you can use crocus or something else. They don't seem to like those quite as much. But again, just a nice planting bed, good soil, follow directions on the package, and you'll be successful in having a beautiful yard in the spring.
All right, with just a moment left here, we'll just veer away from this subject for the moment as we're getting really close, although you can't tell from the temperatures, to the season, to the fall season, and eventually winter. What should we be doing to our lawn right now?
You know what? Don't do anything spectacular. Definitely don't fertilize it. If you have a high nitrogen fertilizer, if you have a fall fertilizer that has a lower nitrogen, that's the first number. That's a good idea. But high spring fertilizers with 20, 30% nitrogen is just going to give it a flush of growth before we're shutting down. Cut it again 2.5 to 3 inches in depth. You don't want to cut it super short. You don't want to leave it super long. Again, rodents can be an issue. And so 2.5, 3 inches. And again, just water it in. We've had a pretty dry, summer here. So again, watering it in for the rest
What
of the
about aeration?
Aeration is great in the fall, and actually it's a good point. The best time of the season to aerate. If you have a high traffic location, compaction in your soil, so the ground's really hard, aeration is going to be the best thing for improving those conditions.
All right, Perry, thank you so much. Nice to see you again, and we'll talk to you soon.
You bet.
For more ideas on how to make your yard the envy of the neighborhood, Classic Landscaping and Ellerslie Gift and Garden, they're at 100th Street, 6th Avenue. More information, we've got phone number and information on your screen right now.